I'm here today to present Ms. Tina Smith. Tina started adulthood with literally nothing but a strong work ethic and a goal. She implemented the disciplines and strategies she now shares with the world through her coaching, public speaking, and book authorship. Implementing these very strategies has allowed her not only to achieve financial freedom, but to build generational wealth and create a legacy that will be passed down to her descendants. Tina is a book author, a real estate investor, and early retired business executive. She lives in Long Beach and has a second and third home in Hilton Head, South Carolina, one of my favorite places,
I love it.
and Atlanta, Georgia.
I love Atlanta too.
Welcome, Tina.
Thank you. Okay, so now you know who I am, and you know why we're here. To get on the path to financial freedom. So we have so much information to cover that we are going to jump right in and get started. I want to show you a word, financial freedom. So that word could mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. I want to give you one definition. This definition is a well-planned lifestyle wherein one no longer is required to work for income to cover their expenses. That's a pretty good one. But the truth is, it's defined in many different ways. Many different people define it in many different ways. Any of these could be considered financial freedom. Mortgage-free living, debt-free living, certainly would you consider that to be financial freedom? What about having residual income, your income working when you're not working? Any of those, being your own boss. But really, at the end of the day, it's up to you to define what financial freedom is for yourself. That's not my job. I have a different job. My job is to help you get there. So you must be willing to, in order to get there, for sure, you're going to need to adopt a few lifestyle habits. The first thing is you must be willing to live below your means. These are 6 things that are going to have to be a part of your life going forward. You're going to have to, that is to say, you're willing to work to live on less than what you earn. You must be willing to eliminate debt and not rely on it ever again. Must be willing to save money. Must be willing to submit yourself to a budget. A budget is empowering. A budget is you telling your money where to go. Because guess what? If you don't tell your money where to go, someone else will. And trust me, it will be into their coffers. You must be willing to delay your gratification. That is to say, you must be willing to forego an immediate and available reward in lieu of obtaining a more valued reward in the future. You must be willing to tithe and be generous, because a closed hand won't get wet. If you put your hand into a stream and it's closed, you put a closed fist into a stream, the water just goes by. But if you open your hand and you're generous, it's filled with water, so more than you can hold. So generosity is a big part of it. And then it all has to be sat on top of a financial plan. It's the old colloquialism stands. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. So these are the lifestyle things that you are going to have to adopt in order to obtain financial freedom. So that's the first part of it. I'm going to make a commitment to you. In the next 60 minutes, I'm going to give you the 5 steps that will put you on the path to financial freedom. That's my commitment to you. That's my job. But you have a job too. Your job in about 55 minutes is going to be to make a decision to doing the work, to taking action within 8 hours of leaving the session, because studies have shown that within 9 hours of leaving, hearing any information, you've lost 90% of the information. So that's going to be your job. Now, who knows this? Information does not change people. If I gave you some information and I told you, before you came in, I put a wad of cash under each of your chairs. There's $1 million under your chair. And then if you got up and left the seminar and didn't take the time to bend down and stuff that wad of cash into your purse, that information was pretty useless. So if information doesn't change people, what does change people? Why do people change? 3 main reasons. People change for pain. They've suffered enough. They just had enough. They hit rock bottom. Their wife's going to leave them. They burned all their bridges. Pain. Another reason people change. Frustration. They're tired of living the same day 365 times a year. The same day with the same result. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And And the third reason, which I believe to be the most compelling reason of all, inspiration. They hear something that gives them hope for a brighter future. They hear something that causes them to believe that they could make the changes, that it could actually happen for them. And so today it is my hope, it is my intention to inspire you to do it. So, with that, let's get started. This is how we're going to spend our time together. I'm going to take about 10 minutes. I've developed a system called the Daily Method. I'm going to take about 10 minutes and I'm going to show you this daily method. I'm going to show you how to fish. Then I'm going to take about 30 minutes and teach you how to fish. I'm going to specifically go into this system step by step and show you how to implement it. We're going to take about 5 minutes to summarize the information, and then I'm going to lay it at your feet. It's going to be up to you to pick up this information and run with it. So, ready, fish? So this is my daily system. So I've developed this system. It's I'm going to go ahead and pass out these because I see you guys taking notes. I'm going to let you, at the end of each of your table is a stack. So everybody just grab one. So everybody will just grab one. Yeah, I went ahead and did it. I was going to just go with it, give it to you at the end. So anyway, this is the daily method. The daily is it's an acronym. The D is for a detailed assessment. The A is for analysis. We're going to go through each of these in detail. The I is for an immediate debt liquidation plan. The L is for a living budget. The Y is for a yearly and monthly accounting system. And so let's do an overview of each of those in turn. The detailed assessment is basically we need to figure out exactly where you are. If you are going to ask your GPS for directions, the first thing your GPS needs is to know exactly where you're starting from, exactly where you are. And so that's what we'll need to do. We'll need to make an assessment of exactly where you are. Okay? So that's the first step. Second step will be an analysis. Once we have this information, once we've gathered this information, and we have a full picture of exactly where you are, then we're going to analyze the information. We're going to look specifically for problems, areas where you have bad habits or habits that need to change and things like that. Then we're going to look for opportunities. We're going to look for opportunities for fat that we can extract for the next step, the I, which is the debt liquidation plan. We're going to determine, again, exactly where you are with respect to your debt. Determine how much debt you actually have. Come on in and just grab a seat. And you can grab a handout at the front of the table, at the front of your room. We're going to determine exactly where you are with respect to your debt. How much debt, and look exactly at your debt. We're going to establish a plan from that. Once we have a liquidation plan, then we're going to establish the L, the living budget. Then once we have all that established, then we're going to look at an accounting program. And it's very important, and we'll look at a yearly and monthly accounting system. So that's the daily method. So let's get started. Ready to fish? All right, so I recommend now you can kind of make notes on your slides if you want to keep up. But it's going to be a lot of information, but very easy to follow. Okay, the detailed assessment. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm bestowing on each of you a new job title. You are no longer the owner of the, come on in. Just in time to get your new job title. So the new job title is, you're no longer the owner of the treasures in your coffers. You are now the fiduciary. That is to say, you have been placed in charge. Fiduciary is one that's been placed in charge of managing the assets of another. So, as such, you are responsible for providing accounting, keeping good records, keeping track of every dime that goes into these financial coffers and out of them. It's your responsibility. You're the fiduciary, okay? And as such, you are no longer going to be dealing in cash. Everything that you spend now from this point on is going to be through your debit card, because you're not going to be driving up to the ATM and sticking your card in and taking $300 out and going and spending it all, $20 on gas. No, you're not going to do that, because you're going to create an accounting nightmare for yourself. Okay, so trust me, you're going to no longer be dealing in cash. Not the other kind of plastic, debit card. Okay. So now we're going to figure out exactly where you are. Okay, so in order to do that, we are going to look at the last full month what that does is, we're just taking a snapshot of your life. And so we choose a section of your life and we take a picture of it. That's all that we're doing. So we're going to go to the last full month. So in this case, since today, if we are doing this today, today is the 23rd of March. So we're going to be looking at the month of February 1st through the 28th. So we are going to need to do an assessment. This will give us a sampling of how you are spending your money. It gives us a good picture of how you are, your habits, what you're spending. It gives us a lot of information. So what we need to do is, we need to sit down and make a list of everything, every dollar that came into your account for the month from February, for the month of February, and every dollar that went out of your account for that month. And we'll put those, once we have that information, we'll sort the information. So for example, if you spent $10 at Bonds and you spent $20 at Ralph's, that would be a total of, I said 10 and 20, $30 for grocery. So once you compile that information and put it all together, and I'm going to give you the tools. I have it here. I'm going to give you a spreadsheet that you're just going to fill in your numbers. So once you do that, it's going to look like this. Don't be intimidated. It's going to look like this. It's basically, and don't be intimidated by the name, it's a cash flow analysis. And all that means is that you're taking a look at how the cash flows into your life and how it flows out of your life. And then we're going through and we're going to stop and take a picture. Oh, we only want to see February. Okay, take a picture, and then that's how that works. So, and it's cash flow analysis also, we're going to be using it as a budget. It's exactly the same. So that's how it will look. I don't want you to worry about the numbers in this for now. I just want you to see what we're going to do with the information, how we're going to capture it, okay? So we are, the other thing that I want to make clear is, everything that we do and all of these systems are based on a monthly accounting. You're doing monthly accounting. However, most people in this country receive bi-weekly paychecks. So in that case, you receive 26 paychecks in a year's time. So all of our system, everything, our budgets, everything that we do is going to be based on 24 paychecks. I see what you're thinking. I'm sorry, all right. 2 extra paychecks. No, they're not 2 extra paychecks. Those 2 extra paychecks that you get every year are not even part of your budget. They're not even part of your calculation. Those immediately go to savings, unless they're part of your debt liquidation plan. And we'll get to that in a minute. But those 2 extra checks are not even a part of your, should not even be a part of your calculation. Okay? So I just wanted you to see how that looks. Now we're going to go to the A, because the first part was the D. We've gathered all this information, we've sat down and we figured out every dime that came in February, every dime that went out. Now we've sorted it, and now we have that cash flow analysis like I showed you. Now we're going to analyze it. We're going to look for problems, trends, habits, things that we want to make sure that we change that we're going to have to change. And then we're going to look for opportunities. So let's do each of those. Let's look at each of those in turns. Okay, so we've created a fictional character, Sally Mae Morris. And so I want you to let's look specifically at her numbers. Sally Mae received 2 paychecks during the month of February. She got one on the 1st and one on the 15th. She got a total of $3,000. She spent $1,000 on her mortgage and rent. She spent $500 on a car payment. She spent $50 on car insurance, $100 for fuel for her car, $200 for her mobile phone, $35 for electricity, $200 for her cable and internet, $250 for her grocery and household expenses, $250 on credit card payments, $300 on entertainment, $200 on personal expenses, hair, nails, makeup, that kind of thing, and a total of $3,085. So I want you to watch me analyze this so that you can figure out how you are going to analyze your budget, how you are going to do this at home for yourself. The first problem that we can see right away by looking at Sally Mae's budget is she is clearly living above her means. The first indication of that is that she earns $3,000 and she's spending $3,085. So she's spending more than she's earning. That's the first indicator that she's living above her means. But the second indicator that she's living above her means is that line item that says credit card payments, $250. that's a clear indication that she is using her credit cards to balance her budget. So, we want to, first of all, this is clear because she's earning $36,000 and she's $9,000 in debt. And credit card debt. She has $9,000 in credit card debt. So that tells me that she is overspending how much she's earning by 25%. So she's actually spending 125% of her salary. Okay, is that clear to everybody? Okay, her housing cost is a little high because when you get a standard loan for housing, the lender generally requires you to be at 28% of your loan on your housing cost. I'm not crazy, it's not crazy. The thing that is crazy is her car. She is above her means in her car. This girl is earning $36,000. And it's clear to me that in order to get a $500 car payment, she had to spend at least 28, 30, she spent a year's salary on a car. It's clear that she had to spend at least that much. You should be spending no more than 10%, maybe 15% of your annual, the cost of your car should be no more than 10 or 15% of. And I'm not talking about finance, I'm talking about paying. I hate, car loans are bad things. So, she's above her means. She should be driving a nice $3,600 car. So, those are the problems that, when I'm pointing out the problems in her budget. Everybody clear about that? Sorry. So now let's look for opportunities in her budget. So there are 4 main areas that just stand out for me in areas of opportunities. These are areas that just, if they will not, by us taking money from them, will not affect her. She'll be able to easily take those. These are areas that offer the greatest opportunity to trim and to find money. Let's look at each of those in turn. So I'm going to make recommendations to Sally Mae. I'm going to recommend that Sally Mae cancel her cable TV in favor of a streaming service. She needs to get rid of her cable bill and get herself a nice Hulu or Netflix or something for $10 a month. She needs to cancel her internet service and get a starter package. Everybody offers starter packages, $39.99 all day long. That will cut her cable and internet bill from $200 to $50. Okay, and keep in mind, these are drastic, but we're trying to do something. We are on a plan. Anyone can do anything as long as you see the end, if you have the end in mind, okay? Her next area, her cell phone bill. She needs to get her, get a new provider. You know, all day long, the services, they offer these certain, T-Mobile, I know for sure, has one for $40 a month. They give you unlimited everything. And you're just the Ariana Grande kind of, girl, you better get T-Mobile. She better get T-Mobile because she needs to reduce her cell phone bill. She could reduce it to $50 a month. I'm being generous. She needs to cut her entertainment costs. She's going to stay at home more. She's going to stay. She's going to stay out the club. She's going to stay out the movie theater. She's going to watch movies on her Netflix account. She's going to she'll see the movie a little bit later. And she's going to cut her personal expenses. She'll have to stay out of the hair salon. Maybe she'll have to go natural, get a natural style or something. I don't know. But she's going to get now. She has $100 a month. Figure it out. I mean, maybe she'll have to do her nails at home. So, okay, just by doing these 4 things, I found $600 in her budget. $600. Now, of course, we have to reduce that $600 by the $85. Everyone see how I've reduced it? But we have $515 now available in her budget, in this budget. $515 that's available. So let's hold that for a minute and we're going to the next step, the I. Because we need to, before we start working on this debt liquidation plan, we need to figure out exactly how much debt she has. So for Sally Mae, let's look at, we're going to be working first on this credit card payments because this is driving me crazy. $250 a month on credit card. Oh my God, I can't Can't even go there.
So is that what she's putting on her credit card, or that's the debt that she has on it?
That's how much she's paying monthly on it. Oh, let's do it, let's look at it. This is what it's from. This is from, she spent $4,500 on a Visa card that she's paying 27% on. She's just paying $125 a month on it. She got herself a nice, and she went to Macy's and she thought she needed $1,500 worth of clothing. $1,500 worth of clothing for Macy's. She earns $36,000. She shouldn't be spending $1,500 at Macy's. Okay, a flat screen TV, $1,200. That's a 75-inch TV. She needs a 32-inch. Come on. She went and bought herself a MacBook Pro, an $1,800 MacBook Pro. You know, Walmart has very nice laptops for $300 all day long. I have one out there. They're $300, you know, she needs herself a nice $300 computer for Walmart laptop. Okay, so anyway, she's gotten herself into debt to the tune of $9,000. So this is what we're gonna do. Now that we know exactly where she is with respect to her debt. And before I do this, I had meant to read you an excerpt from my book, but I didn't bring one inside. I wanted to read you an excerpt. Let me just grab it real quick.
You were like, oh, I did this, and then you picked up the other flower ones that I showed you.
Okay.
Yes, you were nice.
Sorry about that. Okay, I want to talk to you about credit card debt because you have to understand, you guys, I just have to get you to understand how bad credit card debt is. I want to give you an example of this consumer debt. This example that I give you in the book, this person has I want to explain how the calculation of interest rate. This interest is calculated daily. So if they give you a credit card for 27%, that means every day they take the balance and they calculate it every day. They calculate the interest every day. Then they calculate a monthly payment that's like the tiniest percentage of the balance. And so someone believes, oh, well, I only have to pay $25 a month. Yes, you only have to pay $25 a month. But when you couple those two together, you couple together the interest rate, I don't understand, I can't understand why it's legal. Why is it legal? But you have to understand, when these companies are spending billions of dollars every year to pay Hollywood actors, what's in your wallet? How much do you think they have to pay Samuel Jackson to ask you what's in your wallet? Come on, why are they spending this kind of money? It's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not good. It's not good for you. So please, revolving credit, I have an example and break it down and show you how they calculate the interest daily and how bad it is. I'm not even going to go into it, but pick up a copy outside. They're outside for 10 minutes. Okay, so this is this revolving credit that she has gotten herself into. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Remember, we found $600 per month. See the highlighted in yellow? Just to remind you, we found $600, but we had to deduct the $85. Remember? We were left with $515. She already had $250 in her budget for credit card payments. So we now have $765 available each month that we can put toward liquidating this debt. Everybody clear how we came up with that? Okay. Now, let's do it. The one in the blue, the chart in the blue is what she's currently doing. She's just paying, she thinks she's just gonna pay a little extra here and there. This is what Sally Mae is paying at the blue. I'm recommending the purple. I'm recommending that she make the minimum payment on every card except that 27% card. I'm recommending she pays $25 a month to Macy's, Sears, and Best Buy. And then she pays $690 every month toward that Visa card. If she does this in just about 6 months, a little over 6 months, she's going to be rid of that Visa card. She's going to take that next card and at the end of that 6 months, and she's going to pay $25 to Sears and Best Buy, and she's going to pay $715 a month to Macy's. By doing that, plus the extra she had left over from the other month, from the other card, remember? So she'll do that in a month and a half. Next, she's going to pay $25 a month to Best Buy. She's going to pay $740 a month to Sears.
So that really works well, because I try and spread it over.
No, see,
Okay.
no, get rid of, because the interest is so bad, that interest is so bad. Once you understand how they're calculating that every day, it's so bad, yes.
Yeah, also, when you, I think with the credit card companies, if they make it $25 minimum and you pay down $2, they readjust the minimum so that you will never pay it off.
That's exactly right, so it would take her, if she just
Yeah.
went, it would take her at least 10 years.
It says if you pay this for 30 years, and they
Yeah.
keep recalculating that every time you
Every
pay it out.
day, and then it's by it being daily, so they're adding the interest, but then they're charging you interest on the interest, and then they charge interest on the interest, plus the principal. It's really bad. So Sears, she's gonna pay Sears off in a month and a half. Then she's gonna pay Best Buy $765 a month. By the time she pays that, she had a little left over, remember? So she's gonna do that in a month and a half. And guess what? After 10 months, after only 10 months, this girl has changed her life. Now, to start out, she's only making $36,000, and I'm saying only because the average in LA County, the average per capita income is $50,000. So she's making, so if this girl was making $36,000, this is so possible. But let's keep going. So in 10 months, she's liquidated her credit card. She has no credit card debt, and she has an extra $765 left over in her account each month, plus her 2 extra paychecks. And if at any time during this process that you're liquidating this debt, that extra paycheck comes in, that extra paycheck goes immediately toward that debt, immediately,
To the highest interest.
to the highest interest rate. Okay, so now let's look at that car payment, because she's got to get rid of that car. Okay, this is what I'm recommending for Sally. I recommend that she drives herself over to CarMax, and she says, I want to sell you my car, and I want to buy that $3,600 car over there on your lot. So, and the goal being to go in and negotiate so that she ends up walking away with that $3,600 car and no debt. That's the goal. So the way that works is, she walks into CarMax, she says, hi, Miss Sally Mae, how are you? Oh, great, great. Have some coffee and some snacks. We're gonna go and we're gonna appraise your car. So they take her car in the back, and they'll have a person in the back to appraise her car, and they're gonna make sure they can get enough money to sell, you know. So here's how it's gonna look in a perfect world. And I wanted to pull an example. I just pulled this example off the internet because people say, oh, you can't get it. People tell me all the time, I can't get a $3,000. You can get a $3,000 car. You can get a very nice $3,000 car, okay? This is the perfect world. She walks in, CarMax comes back and they say, wow, Sally Mae, you've taken really good care of your car. We're gonna give you $31,600 for your car. We're gonna pay off your loan for $28,000, and you have $3,600 left. Do you wanna buy our car over there? So Sally Mae at that point can say, yeah, I'll buy your car for $3,600. Or she can go and negotiate, find another car of her own. She could take her $3,600 and go buy her a nice car. This is an example of a car. I just went on Carfax and put in used cars under $4,000. I put $4,000 because you gotta leave room for negotiation. Everything's negotiable. You can get that car for $3,600. So, but look, it's a perfectly fine car. It's 155,000 miles on it. It's a Volvo. Volvos last, everybody knows Volvos last forever. It's in La Crescenta. It's not far away. There's the Carfax report. I pulled that just to show you that it is possible to buy a perfectly fine used car. Yes.
So is the thinking, one, she was already in a car that was well above her pay grade,
Yes.
and then two, it's a better strategy to have no car payment, even though you might have car repairs on an older car, than to have a monthly car payment, especially one that's as excessive as the one that she had.
That's right. And the debt. Because keep in mind, as long as everywhere she goes, every time she goes somewhere to take a loan for anything, they're going to give her a FICO, her score is going to be based on her debt to income ratio. She's underwater. Anybody that looks at her paperwork is going to see that she's underwater. She's living above her means. So she needs to be living below her means in order to, yes, to get rid of the debt and to get rid of the monthly payment. But Go ahead.
Well, so I have this battle with myself because I have a 2004 Toyota Highlander. It's essentially a truck with a shell. I've had one mechanic tell me, like, we've seen these with 400,000 miles on them. He's like, just keep taking good care of it. And every year there's about $1,500, service that it needs, but I own the car.
That's right.
And so I just keep telling myself, minimum car payment would be like
Yeah.
$395. So as long as it's about $1,000 a year, it's less than.
It is. And if you got a luxury car, Sally made it for 30,000. She didn't have a luxury car. But if you got a luxury car, you have to get service A and B every few thousand miles. So you gotta spend for service anyway. You're gonna have to go and spend that, that's in addition to your car payment. They make you get if you don't get the service, you was your warranty. I mean, you have to take it back to BMW or Mercedes.
So are you an advocate for leasing a car?
Oh my God, no.
No.
Please, no. Buy a car before you lease it. But leasing is the worst. The worst, because you're renting a car. You don't own anything. You're just leasing this time with this vehicle, and you're overpaying for it. The car loses the most value in the first 2 years of its life. So if you buy a car, if you are going to save up your money and buy a new car, please don't buy a brand new car. Buy a 2-year-old or 3-year-old car, because you're going to get a car that's coming back off of a lease. So somebody buys a car when they buy it on the lease and it's $60,000, and then they bring it back in 2 years and it's worth $25,000, or $30,000, and then you come along and you buy it for $30,000 because in the first 2 years it lost that much, it depreciated by this much, but then the rest of the years it depreciates by this much. So if you buy a car, then you go in and buy it at 2 or 3 years. You're getting one coming off of a lease. It's been cared for. It has low mileage, because if you have a lease, you can't even decide how many miles you want to drive your car. They tell you how many miles you can drive it. You can't customize it. You can't do, you got to be careful about where you get it repaired. So follow all these rules. It's not your car. And then at the end, you can buy it from us for some ridiculous price, but you paid too much for the car because you paid the lease. Now you're gonna buy it. So leases are bad ideas. I recommend that if you are going to get a car, just save up your money and buy a car. Whatever money, if you feel like, okay, you want a new car, then set aside, I don't know how much you feel like you can afford, $300 or whatever, $400, then put that aside in an account. And then when you have enough, then just go buy you a nice car, a nice used car.
Previously on it.
Yes, previously
They're
owned.
great, because they bring them up to speed, so that they're.
That's right. Preferably off of a lease, coming off of a lease.
Yeah.
So that's okay, so I got my cue to move on. Okay, I wanted to give you a possible scenario that if it was a bad deal. So let's say she's upside down in her car. Say she went into CarMax and she's upside down. That is to say she owes more money than it's worth. She goes in, CarMax says, I'm only going to give you $26,000 for your car, but she owes $28,000 on it. So CarMax says, okay, well, you're short by $2,000. If you want to buy our car over there, we'll give you a loan for $5,600. We'll give you a loan for our car plus your deficit. Okay, fine. Sally Mae takes the $5,600 loan. Okay, that's okay, because the $5,600 loan, she's maybe going to have a car payment of $200 maybe. Okay, take it. Because you know what she's going to do? She's not going to pay $200 a month. She's going to pay $1,265 a month on that loan. Because she already has $700, remember? She had $765 left over in her budget. She had $500 already in her budget for a car. So she's going to pay that loan off in a few months. Get it out of the way. Okay, so now look at the position. And I gave you just a few resources. You can take those with you. I gave you those just so you can see. Anyway, so after only 10 months, maybe 14, 10 to 14, because it depends on the position she's in. Depends on how far. After only 10 to 14 months, look at the position she's in. She's now debt-free. Okay? She has an extra $1,265 in her budget every month left over. Okay? I'm not going to go through it just because I've been told to move on. Okay, so now we're moving from the I to the L, to the living budget. All along, she's been living on a budget, but she's been living on that budget. Remember the budget that we created in the very beginning, which was that, I called it a cash flow analysis. Okay, so she had been living, but now we're gonna create her living budget, okay? So now she has enough money that she can now begin tithing, giving her 10% and saving, okay? So now, let's look at her living budget, okay? So we changed it around and we added those two highlighted areas. And this is how her budget now looks. Now, after only 10 months, Sally is debt-free. She's saving 1/3 of her income, 1/3 of her check. 1/3 of her income. This is not even counting her extra 2 checks. She's giving 10%, and now she's put herself in a position so she can start building her wealth. Because the only way to start building wealth, you gotta get out of debt, and then you start building your wealth on top of that. Now, I'm gonna come back and summarize, but I wanna move on to the why, which is the accounting program. And the reason I stress an accounting program is this. Let me tell you, first of all, let me show you how these accounting program works. At the bottom is an ad that was written, an article that was written by some tech guys, and they listed the 10 best free programs, free software programs. I have a Wave one. I have another one I use, but I have a Wave one. Okay, so let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you why I'm recommending it. Okay, so you sign up for a Wave account. You go on and you put your information and you say, maybe I have 2 banks. Maybe I bank at Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Okay, so I go in and I put my login. I said, this is how you log into Wells Fargo, this is how you log into Bank of America. So when I want to know, say it's March 23rd, I want to know how I'm doing for March. How am I doing on my budget? Am I on track? So I go log into Wave and I say, Wave, how am I doing? So go and pull up my information. So Wave goes and logs into Wells Fargo and pulls my information. They go to Bank of America, they pull my information, they sort it all out, and they give me a report. Okay, so it's March 23rd, you spent $12 on groceries, you spent $18 on gas, and they sort it for me. They do all the work and they do it for me, and all I have to do is, set it up. In the beginning, you set it up because you might want yours to be under grocery or whatever, but so they have some standard categories that you can just use. So that's why I recommend the accounting program, and that's why I'm saying to do everything through the bank, because it will account for everything for you. It'll sort it and put it in the categories for you. And then all you have to do is look at it to make sure you're staying on track. And if you want to look at, I say, well, how did I do last month? Did I go over budget? You just pull up a report. Hey, Wade, how did I do last month? And you pull it up and ask for it for the month of February. It gives you a whole report and tells you how you did. And then at the end of the year, when it's time to do your taxes, you just ask Wade, okay, can you run me a report and tell me what I spent money on this year? It'll run you a report and tell you everything you spent money on for the year. And you can transfer those to your tax return or give them to your tax person or however you do that. So that's why I really recommend, and you need that to keep track. In order to do your job as fiduciary, you need that. Remember, you're not the owner anymore, you're fiduciary. So that's why I recommend the accounting program, the software. So I want to just recap what we did here. We took a look at the overview, we did an overview, we did the demonstration step by step, and now I'm going to summarize the information for you. We said it first, remember, just to summarize, these are the 6 habits that you are going to have to adopt. This is going to have to be a part of your life. And all of it is for the purpose of the delayed gratification. You're willing to do these things in exchange for financial freedom. Okay? You're willing to live below your means. That is to say, you're not going to live on 100%. You're going to live on 75% or 80% of your salary, but not 100%. No more than 70. I don't recommend any more than 70, living on any more than 70% of your income. So 70% of your income is all that you should be living on. So, eliminating debt, saving money, submitting yourself to a budget, delaying gratification, and giving, and all on top of that plan. So, we looked at the daily system, which is we did a detailed analysis. We took a picture of where we were, exactly where we were, And then we did an analysis to see what things needed to change. We looked at it, we looked for opportunities for fat. Once we found some fat, everybody has fat in their budget. We found the fat in our budget, and then we immediately set forth to apply for it. And I'm not, debt liquidation, it shouldn't be a long drawn out thing. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. If you draw it out, it's less likely that you're gonna complete it. Yes.
My daughter has gone to somebody, and I'm not sure of all the details, but they help her consolidate her debt.
Oh,
What do you
yes.
think of those?
Yeah, that's good. Okay,
I mean, I guess they take
No,
all her, whatever, credit cards and stuff and put it in one thing, and then,
So what happens is the government, because somebody had to do something. This is, I don't know why it's legal. You guys, I'm so serious. I don't know why this credit card scheme, it's a scheme, it's so legal. So when you get yourself into real trouble, like, sounds like your daughter got, they do that. They show up on the college campuses and give people credit cards that don't have jobs, okay? But anyway, so once you get yourself into, say you're in credit card debt over, I think $10,000 is the limit. Then you go and the government says that they have to give you relief. So you go to this consolidation companies, they have these companies, some of them are nonprofit. You have to be careful, some of them get a nonprofit one, and they're nonprofits. And what they do is they're authorized to go to the credit card companies and say, look, she can't pay you. Okay, so this is what she's gonna do. She's got 10 cards over here, and we're gonna give you this much, and we're gonna give you this much, and that's it. She can't pay you the rest of it, and you're gonna change the interest rate, and she can't pay you all that interest, and she'll give you the principal, but she can't give you any interest. And so then they'll work it out, and you pay that company, and then they pay those cards. You know, they pay a little bit, so, and that they get you out of trouble. But you got, it does affect your credit, but I don't know. During that time, while you're going through that, it's not, you can't get credit anywhere. It's gonna mess credit. Yeah,
I
maybe
just
it's
don't
bad.
know, because she gives me sketchy details, and
Yeah,
so.
tell her just be careful. There are some that charge money. So
Yeah,
she may
that's right.
pay,
It sounds too good to be true.
so if she pays $300, they may charge her $200 and pay $100. So make sure tell her to choose one that's a nonprofit,
Nonprofit, okay.
because that way they're not into it for the money.
Okay.
But they are there, and that's because the government had to give some relief. It's crazy. So that's what they are. So anyway, so living budget and the yearly accounting. And then we said, I want to just go over this and recap. Okay, 10 months ago, when we met Sally Mae, she was on the road to perdition. She was going to financial hell. Okay. She was living above her means. She was more than 1 year's salary in debt. She was balancing her budget on her credit cards. She had no savings. She had no retirement. She had no appreciating assets. An appreciating asset is an asset that increases in value as time goes along. A depreciating asset is one that decreases in value as it goes along. Like a car, or like clothing, everything you get out of the mall, or things that lose their value when you should be investing in appreciating assets. So she had none. She had no way of obtaining it. She had nothing to show for her life's work except a closet full of pretty shoes, and a car she couldn't afford. Whereas now, she has a strong financial foundation. She's poised to begin investing now. She's ready. She's on the road, okay? She's to create generational wealth. That is to say, wealth that you'll be able to pass along to your children, and they'll be able to pass it, because that's the goal, to create generational wealth. That's what we want to do. The Kennedys, the Rockefellers, this generational, we want to create generational wealth. To create tax shelters. The really rich people don't pay taxes. Your president doesn't pay taxes. Because they find tax shelters. They invest in things that they're able to, in lieu of paying taxes, they'll use that money to invest in things. Okay, but she's putting herself in that position. She's poised to start retirement planning, putting herself a retirement plan in place. And because she's adopted these new habits, she's never going to have money problems again. 10 months ago, she was living above her means. Now she's living below her means. 10 months ago, she was balancing her budget with debt. Now she's saving 33% of her income. 10 months ago, she was living on 125% of her salary. Now she's living on 66% of her salary. 10 months ago, she was more than 1 year's salary in debt. She was $37,000 in debt. She was a year's salary in debt. Now she's debt free. So, I told you when I started that in the next 60 minutes I was going to give you the 5 steps to put you on the path to financial freedom. And I told you your job was going to be, I've done my job. I told you what your job was going to be. Your job is going to be to make a decision to do the work. And I have the tools that I'm going to give you. And we said that information doesn't change people. We said that inspiration is when you hear something that gives you hope for a brighter future. And so it was my intention to inspire you today because you don't understand how this works. It works. It really works. It works. And I want to leave you with that. And I want to give you, with that I'm going to give you, I'm going to pass up this. What I'm going to give you is a worksheet that you can fill in on your own. So you fill in your information. So you can fill in your. Okay. And so if you open it, you see that what I did is, if you open it, I just reminded you of the 6 habits that you're going to have to adopt. Okay, and then on the detailed assessment, I gave you a blank one on page 2, or page 2. Yeah, page 2 of the handout. You'll see. So, let's see. It should be, it's on the other side, on the back side. There you go. So you have a blank one.
4, but it's 2.
Oh, yes, yes. So what you're gonna do is, you're gonna calculate all your expenses and then put them on, I'm gonna give you one for your daughter. Yeah, she's put her on the road, so she can start now. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, you're gonna calculate you're gonna figure all your stuff in, you're gonna say I spent $12 at bonds. If you're a person that's already been using debit, this is gonna be a piece of cake. All you have to do is go to your bank statement or your online banking and look at all your expenditures.
Can you still pay by check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that's gonna capture on the bank,
Yes, thanks.
so that Wave, remember the Wave, one of those software is gonna go capture it, so you don't have to do, because if you use cash, then you gotta go put it in manually.
Yeah.
And you gotta put, okay, I had $300, and the only time that you'll be able to go to the ATM machine is if you say, okay, I have $100 for my play money. You know, okay, that's fine, you don't have to keep track of that, because you know that every month, that $100, you're not keeping track of that. That's the only time you'll be able to use, but other than that, the grocery, all the time, if I go to Rite Aid and I want something, I put $3, I put it on my card.
I do that on my credit card because I get points.
Everybody says that.
And
Okay.
so, like, for example, I built up a lot of points and I can use it to travel. So I'm gonna go on a cruise and my points are paying for the cruise.
That's
But
okay.
I don't get that.
Okay, the only reason
But
I would
I pay my
have
credit
said,
card off every month.
yeah, that's gonna stay. The only reason I would have said that's okay is if you are very disciplined and you pay that credit card every month.
I do.
Yeah,
Don't get tempted to not pay that.
right.
But then you still have to be careful because you're still living 1 month in advance. So in other words, when you put that money, you see something and you spend the money now, you're not gonna get the bill for that until next month.
Right.
So you're still gonna be a month ahead. So you have to be really careful about that.
Yeah,
I am.
I just started doing that too.
Yeah.
But what I do is I write everything down in my check register when I use my debit card anyway. So if I put something on my city card because I want to get the points, I deduct it right away from my check
Oh, good.
register. So that way, it's like that money
Yeah.
doesn't exist, the bill
Good.
comes, I have it all, and then I just check it off, okay? I
Good,
marked
good,
these off.
good.
Yeah.
You can do that,
Yeah.
or you can pay it off at the end of each week.
But you have to be really careful. Yeah, I pay it ahead of time.
Or just
If
pay it
I
at
have
the end
it,
of
I pay
each
it.
Friday. Every Friday you pay it off.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to get a month in
Yeah.
advance, because when you get a month in advance,
it's
if
easy.
you're in trouble, you're still in trouble.
Yeah,
I mean, I get the points, I mean, I understand that.
well, I guess the
But the
other,
credit card companies, they're not stupid.
yeah,
They'll give you the points, but they know, they count on the fact that you're going to, yeah, I'm gonna pay it off. And then you're gonna
Well,
spend
it's
it
like
again.
student loans, same thing. Same thing with student loans. You know, they give you, if they have two kinds, one is the one where you don't
With
have
no
to pay
interest.
anything with the government pays, but if you have the kind where you have to pay the interest while you're a student, it
Right.
adds up so
Yeah.
quickly because they
Yeah.
compound it daily. It's
Daily.
really,
There you
it's
go.
bad.
It's really
I
bad.
have a really,
but I
So,
guess
I mean,
the
that's the only thing
advantage-
I would caution you
Yeah.
about doing that. I mean, I get the points, I heard what you're
Yeah.
saying about the points, but so dangerous. But if
Yeah.
you're really disciplined, okay.
I am, but also I guess the disadvantage, according to your conversation, is not doing it, you don't get that readout on your monthly,
Yes, you do. When you put your, in Wave, you can put your credit card there too.
okay, you
So
can
like I
put the
have an
credit card,
American,
not the
you put
bank.
an American Express there too. So it'll, so like you have a login for, I don't know, your card's Citibank, or I don't know, whatever.
Visa, yeah,
Citibank or something.
Yeah.
So you have a login, so you put that in Wave. So when Wave goes, it can go,
so they can pull credit card, bank accounts, they
Yeah.
can do the whole shebang.
right, they can pull from the
Okay.
credit card too. So you
even
can,
put
and
your
they'll
bills
sort it.
out.
They'll do
Okay.
the best they can with sorting it.
Yeah.
It's
And-
mostly
and
wrong though.
it's
The
secure.
credit cards are mostly wrong.
And it's secure that
Yeah.
you're giving all these account numbers.
I mean, I feel like if they give my money away, they have to give me my money back, so, you know. I don't worry too much about it, but yeah,
Okay.
I put mine, I have one. I have a Wave. But, I mean, so anyway, so going back to this, you're going to, so you're going to be putting in all of your information, so you're gonna put in everything. So everyone understand that like your car, like for example, fuel, you're gonna have probably 12 entries. You add those up on another sheet, but then you're only entering the one number here. And once you set up this, then you have the document that we're working from. Now we're gonna be able to analyze, do the analysis. You're gonna say, okay, I shouldn't have, you know, you can find out, this is the one time that you get to look for what you're doing wrong. Usually you're looking for what you're doing right, so you look for what you're doing wrong. And then once you figure out what you're doing wrong, now you're gonna look for the fact. Because you're gonna, once you find the fact, then you're gonna put that aside because, and keep in mind, this is, you don't have to live like this forever. You're only delaying your gratification. You're looking ahead for something. You have something in mind that you wanna do here. I wanna get out of debt so that I wanna put myself on the road to financial freedom. Okay, because I'm never gonna, I'm just living the same day over and over, and you're never gonna get ahead this way. This is how it's set up. They want the middle class to stay in the middle, to pay all the taxes, they have to pay all of it, we have to pay, pay all the tax, we gotta keep the system going, because the rich is not, they're not gonna pay taxes, and the poor are not gonna pay taxes, so, they gotta keep the cycle going, keep you stuck on that. So, this is what the commitment that you have to make, just to get yourself in a position so that you can start building wealth. Now when you start building wealth, you're investing in appreciating assets. Now you got your regular home, now you got a rental property, and you're getting rental income. Now you got all these tax write-offs, so now you're not paying taxes anymore. Because all the money you were paying for taxes, you're paying to maintain your property. And your properties, you're getting the assets, your asset is growing, and someone else is paying for it because they're renting it. The government's giving you all the tax breaks, so it's actually paying you to have an investment, to have an asset. And then you get your next asset. Okay, well then more tax write-offs, more money, and then you could, and all along, other people are paying for your investments. You just get them. Your cost is to acquire them. But once you get them, other people, they're paid for by other people. Does that make sense? I mean, but to get there, you gotta get out of debt first. You can't buy $1,500, you can't spend $1,500 on Macy's. Any other questions?
It still throws me that you've got all these credit cards and a lot of them are high and not spreading it across, doing just like the minimum and then getting this one and then,
Yes.
because Because then you're not making too much headway on the other ones.
No, it's just gonna stretch it out, only because it's
But they're
that
all
daily
high.
thing, it's the daily thing.
Okay.
The reason that won't work is because of the daily compounding thing. So it's like, you have this much, and then we have this much interest, but now you're paying interest on both of these. And then now, at some point, you have this much interest and this much principal, but you're paying on all of this, you're paying on interest that you've already paid on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
It's
just
such a
pay
racket. Why is it
Well, but then they
legal?
give you a tax deduction for interest
Because they're all
on school
high.
loans.
All of them are high.
Yeah, but that little, oh my God, that's so funny, that's funny. But she said the interest for the student loans, that's funny.
I know, meanwhile, the government's,
No,
know.
no, the way you get the real tax write-offs, yeah. Ask your president, when you get the real tax write-offs, real estate. That's how you get the real tax write-offs. You get the tax write-offs because you acquire the real estate and then you don't pay taxes anymore. You need all your money. I can't pay taxes because I have to maintain all these properties. I mean, I have my business. I don't have any money left to pay taxes. You guys pay taxes. Yeah, you keep using your credit cards and you guys pay the taxes and I'm gonna keep. Does that make sense? That's how it works. It's not fair. It's so unfair. So that's my recommendation. So I recommend also that you stop by and pick up my book, 10 Keys to Financial Freedom. This is a little different. This is more of a how-to. This is more of the principles. This gives you all the principles. And then I have a few other books. My other books that I write are Christian-based. And so I have another book out there that when I worked for a corporation, we did annual staff retreats. Like they take us away to a nice hotel and we sit around for a week and so I decided to bring that into my personal life, and so I started doing annual retreats with God. And so just took it to a whole nother level because every year, every day, I would take a whole day and I go sit out in nature and I go through. And so I wrote books about that and how to do it. You take the book and just go sit out in nature and it'll guide you through the whole session. And then I did that I started doing it with my family. So every year we go do like a little staycation, we go to a hotel and sit down and make our goals for the year and talk to God about it and our goals and make our goals for the year, and that started working. And then I came up with a daily planner because I wanted to find a way I couldn't find a planner that would give me a space to have my morning time with God, and then also plan my day in the same planner. So I developed a planner. So those are okay.
Thank you so much.
And you guys can email me. I just gave you my cards if you have any questions, like specific, like your daughter has any questions, email me.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great.
All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, I did.